Kathy Vick, deeply awake. I forgot my name for a minute. I want to talk about treasure hunts because I'm on one and I didn't know I was. You know, I always suspect, but it's kind of important because I believe that our souls, ourselves, put us on treasure hunts, spiritual treasure hunts. Okay, you can call it a spiritual quest. Okay. A shaman's journey. Whatever. I like treasure hunt. In fact, it's more like a scavenger hunt, but it's treasure we're looking for. Let me explain. I've long known that this is how, at least my group, works with me. And I didn't know that this was something that perhaps was a shared reality until Lee Carroll, I think 2 years ago in January. He always comes to Boulder in January, so I always go see Cryon in Januaries. Anyway, I think a couple of years ago, he was talking about having gone, oh yeah, it was the 33 miners in Chile. And he mentioned that when he was at the site, he was given some information, just a smidge, just in the right place. And then he knew he needed to go on a quest. And he talked about that, how Cryon, his group, puts him on treasure hunts. So what's mine that I'm aware of now? It's pretty awesome. I'm going to post the companion piece, which is Kaipacha Lesher's, or Tom Lesher, or Kaipacha, his Astrology for the Soul report for this week, where he talks about the great attractor. There's this thing in the cosmos, and I got to learn more about it, that's for sure. It sounds devilishly similar to the, I don't know, Wave X, Ascension Wave, the wave that was going to kill us all that stuff. The ribbon of light coming from central source, la la. But it's an attractor. It sucks everything into it. And it's not a black hole, because it can be seen around. Well, that's the mother of creation right there. And we had our first pass, I guess Saturn had its first pass over the great attractor January 31st of 16. Then it went retrograde May 22nd. Then it goes direct. I believe it's the 28th of October. So BFD, it's like, you know, if he were to talk about Black Moon Lilith or Cassiopeia or whatever. So, but oh, did the gongs go off. So I went on a little quest, a little treasure hunt. The rule about treasure hunts is you gotta drop your belief that you know everything. Drop the belief that you know everything. Except that you have a database that is, by virtue of the setup, limited. It might be fantastic and totally functional, but it has limits. Hence, treasure hunts. Because I look back, I was thinking, all right, the end of January, what was going on? And I thought, no, okay, interesting. Not what I thought, but and it kind of flat. It just seems sort of energetically flat as far as, you know, other people or high drama or whatever. January 31st. Then I read the essay that I just happened to publish on January 31st, and it all hit me. I remember what was going on. I remember very well. And I was hooking into something that is now fulminant. May 22nd? Sure, of course, I checked that one out too. That was my day of radio silence. That was the day when all of my electronics, one by one, boop, 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 shut down. Because I had done a video where I had said something highly incendiary that appeared very innocent, but I knew how it felt. And it went out there, and I could feel it. I felt boom, 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 these reverberations. And then I got done with my video, and I have no connection to the outside world. And I really did feel that whole day, the 22nd, as if I was walking on the dark side of the moon. And they had told me prior to that event that I was going through a major adjustment that would be the last one. And they said, not dear one, this is what it's like. It's tangle, tangle, tangle. Even with all your work, here's your thinking, tangle, tangle, tangle. And then, a black line. And then, flowers. That black line, May 22nd. And then it goes direct again. So for me, the energy is, I thought it was talking about my true love, or connection on planet Earth, or whatever. Of course not. Of course not. No. It has to do with self-worth, self-expression, self-acceptance, and therefore compassion, which, sure, I sometimes lack that. You bet. I cop to it. I sometimes get so triggered, I react the way that I reacted when I was a child. If I'm confronted with the energy that makes me need to protect myself, you bet. I revert, don't you? Stress, psychological, physical, whatever, stress tends to make the psyche revert to older, more primitive coping mechanisms. Makes sense. So the bigger the stress, the more primitive the response. Unless you're mindful, and sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes it's appropriate to respond emotionally. So, a treasure hunt. It brings up something that's going on with a friend of mine, and actually many of my friends, but one in particular, and that is finding herself in a very odd place geographically and spiritually, and not really knowing the end date and knowing the purpose and knowing anything more than that, and wondering what the hell is going on. And in parentheses, am I doing it right? End parentheses. So we're having a little chat. Guess who comes through? And it's they who I will end with, because I have things to do today. I have such a happy day. It's a happy weekend. And honey, after the week I put in, I deserve every drop of sunshine coming my way. I've earned it. It was brutal. It sucks being the light in a dark place. So I'm going to celebrate being a light in a very light place all weekend. Among other lights, yes. Some who are brighter. Yes, this is the contrast that is so desperately needed from time to time. Don't you know of it? There are people who enter your reality and in a completely involuntary way, because of how they hold themselves, what they find interesting, how they behave, how they react. You get to learn. Perhaps you don't know everything. Perhaps there are different ways of doing this thing, and perhaps your consciousness is held in a little bit of a limitation in this particular area or that one. Isn't that lovely? Messengers, all. Loved ones, all. Whether the confrontation is that of orgasmic joy or desperate despondence. Well, what palette do you like to paint with? we ask. And we have been bringing up for awareness now the understanding that things that are dark, hard, ugly, awful, these are judgments, of course. They are judgments that are from someone who is triggered emotionally by stimuli. You do understand this is how reality is created. Where? On what? On whom? On where? Is your focus? What are you attending to? Are there arguments going on in your head? Or accusations and a sense of needing to defend against self? Or is there a gentle acceptance of things that have gone on before and are going on now, in an absence of judging them as good or bad? We have an interesting awareness to share. It was shared in a public forum. An individual who had an experience which was altering and deeply moving, that of understanding fundamentally that one's heart, intellect, vision, ability and willingness to express, and one's sexual organs, when these bits and pieces of the individual are put together, when they line up and start talking to one another, it's funny, but what seems to be so disconnected and separate, compartmentalized, the walls begin to crumble. The vision is clearer, more comprehensive, and the human being begins to understand the spiritual suggestion of doing that which feels good to you and avoiding that which feels bad to you. The mind, of course, loves to pass this, doesn't it? Ha! And the body, well, the body responds with, yes, well, pass away. I know what I know. And we would say that treasure hunts, quests, well, these are stories that you have hidden for yourself in plain sight. They are triggers. Do you recall long ago the channeling that we did about triggers? We are sure that the main premise of this channeling shone through, and we will share it with you now. Who is it who has impregnated your reality with coincidences, with triggers, with synchronicity? Who but the observer? Who but the experiencer can say? What is random and what is coincidence and what is synchronicity? You're not obligated to think that something glowing with synchronicity and beauty. Is anything but a happy accident, or for some, it's confirmation of great spiritual work and practice. It's up to the person. So there are many who don't go on treasure hunts. There are many who don't go on quests. But we assure you, if you were to drop into this body of yours, which is inhabited with sense organs and sensual experience, sensual information, which can be of great assistance to all, to each. Please, dropping into this and using what feels good, what lights you up from the inside. If this is a true north, it can be very helpful. If one is not paying attention, or only paying attention to that which hurts, well then, how easy are things going to be, do you think? We're just asking a question. We're just asking. Okay, so there are so many gifts to be given and received this day for the one before you and for you as well. Gifts, joys, ease, peace, relief, surcease, significance, meaning, love, compassion, benevolence. And certainly, if all of these ride with you, wanting so much to be shared by you, in full awareness that you yourself, some larger part of you, has indeed created these joys for yourself, for your enjoyment, for your edification, for your enlightenment, for your enlightenment. It's a spark that one may attend to or not. It's a song whose music rides in the air soundlessly, wrapping, enveloping, loving. The sunset and the unaware equally. It is, of course, up to you how significant and meaningful, how happy, joyful, ecstatic, hopeful, loving your reality is. Up to a point. Up to a point. Look around. Are there those who do not resonate with these vibrations? Who you are in contact with, who you are connected with? The question is, how affected are you going to be because the ones around you don't notice magic and think you foolish for knowing it exists? It's your choice, and at times if it's not your choice, if you just find yourself there, well, that's your work, and it's really past time to leave things that don't feel good. This one's working hard on it. It can be so easy of letting go of the argument, just letting it float away, and having other things caress your mind. Better things. That's how it begins. So, if you want a treasure hunt, keep your eyes open. Keep your heart open. Keep your ears open. Keep your sensate body open. One must first believe. There is something to attend to. Yes. That's up to you. Not up to us. Up to you. What you choose to believe is real. And what you choose to believe is not possible. So, we're gonna go experience the impossible. We wish you well on your journeys today and in all days. In all days. In all ways. Selah.